the game down. They're just going to push into you, and that's even more difficult for LGE when they're the defending team, because
Exactly.
O2 just want to run on top of the point. They want to get in position to force cap potential, to force cap pressure, and that puts a timer on LGE to do something in response.
And that's the thing. Assault could really make or break LGE.Huya here, I feel.
Look at this Sombra spy checking coming from O2 Blast, who I do believe are attacking first, which does mean we are in that scenario where LGE are going to defend, and we are expecting O2 Blast to try and get on that point as quickly as possible.
It is also O2 Blast going to be playing, again, just a standard 3-3. They don't want to give Hacker time to get going, but Hacker does get that little bit of extra ult charge early on the defense. That could be all the difference here.
And look at the rotations as well, knocking people onto the ground, already onto the point. We're already going to be in a 6v5, potential 6v6, depending on where Hacker is.
This is exactly what O2 Blast wants. Now if they can just start picking up kills, 1-for-1 though, that's not too bad finding Piggy. However, O2 Blast still in the driver's seat right now, still setting the pace, still with the positioning on the point, and with no tanks left, it's very hard for LGE.Huya to push back on. In fact, they're still retreating.
They've completely backed off here. The team is missing. Hacker is down.
Still losing members.
O2 Blast got to cap this one through, and Proper is still cleaning up members. He's still getting ult charge. This is absolutely insane from a push from O2 Blast.
What did I say? If they're allowed to continue playing this way, they will continue winning. That was the same kind of push we saw on point A of Kings Row. Can LGE dig in on point B now?
We still need to see some ultimates come through for LGE, nearly on the EMP now. Myeonbong is hacked up, but for how long?
Got to be able to commit it in. They get a few members and they find Myeonbong. That is a critical one. Also Transcendence to deal with the Graviton Surge out of Proper. So LGE.Huya finally getting some of the picks they need. Kaiser still going to deal one punch back. Not going to go down without a fight. Pelican traded out though, and Kaiser was looking to wrap around maybe for an Earth Shatter. Sees Pelican go down and decides, nope, take a dive, going to reset. Let's not give away more ultimate charge.
And that's actually a really clean reset from O2 Blast, like you mentioned, not giving away the ult charge, super important versus a player like Hacker who's sitting on 13. You're looking at the two tanks now, Piggy and JMag. They got the grab, they got the Earth Shatter. These are the big tools to try and win the next fight, because O2 Blast, despite losing that one, still come in with 4, nearly 5 ults.
That's the reality. It was traded back and forth. They started with an ultimate advantage, they walk away with an ultimate advantage. Now squaring up for their next go around in the ring. It's already a hack on Myeonbong, but they're not able to get much done with it. Shatter out from JMac is decent, plus the grab, but can they get kills? Because the sound barrier's been able to come in to help keep these members alive. Krong is low, but not out of the mech yet. Able to toss forward the self-destruct in a spot that makes it very hard for LGE to get onto the point. Here we go, baby. The Transcendence as well. Can they start picking up some kills now when all ultimates have been thrown down into the mix proper? The last one out.
What's that?
That's a wacky grab. It's only on Kami right now, and he's not even dead. JMac's got another shatter up, and he's committed it out. They get some kills. Piggy and JMac down in the counter trade, though. O2 Blast not done with this one just yet, especially not a Proper has anything to say about it, and with 2/3 picked up as well. If they can keep a lid on this, EMP has got to do a lot of work. It gets some members, but where's the follow-up damage?
This is actually a strange EMP, because you expect LG to have won the fight already. O2 Blast now just get to kind of walk away, regroup, absorb the EMP. Such a big tool, and now this has kind of messed up the macro rotation. LGE needed the EMP to win the fight, to then get the Graviton Surge back again. Now they're left with nothing.
Some sleight of hand. O2 Blast is standing there on the point while you're trading ultimates. They're actually capping percentage while you think you're getting an upper hand.
He's down.
Huge pick early in the fight.
What do we got left? We have a rally that's about to go down. I mean, Kami's not doing too well at the moment.
Nearly dead thanks to that biotic grenade. It's actually JMac who goes down first between the two. Stun on Lens and takes some chunks, has to back off from the point. Still goes down anyway. Another grab out from Proper, this time off the point. Stop these respawners, stop these reinforcements, and there's nobody left alive to keep boots on the ground. O2 Blast gonna finish the cap out in what felt like one long rolling engage.
And this is where for LGE, you're kind of expecting them to win a few more fights on that defense, especially when, okay, they started to out-muscle the side of O2 Blast, who kind of ran out of ultimates towards the end there. Then the wild EMP comes through, and that's really strange. Have to go back to that one as kind of the changing of the winds, because if that didn't happen, LGE continue holding, O2 pushing again, then the EMP comes through, you get this big cleanup, and then you rotate back into your Graviton Surge, back into your Earth Shatter. You get that macro engine really going, you have a good shot at completing a B hold. That's not how it went though, and O2 Plus completely take advantage.
Now let's see if the defense goes as well. Maybe they get another repeat of what they did on Kings Row, even if we end up getting a full push through in some capacity from LGE.Huya. You've got to say 4 minutes on the clock is a solid time bank to start things off with.
And we knew the defense was going to be tough for LGE, but it's going to be on the offense where they have to make up for that difference, right?
Yep.
4 minutes is a long time to have in the time bank on this map for the side of O2 Blast. LGE, maybe not expecting 4 minutes, but how about 3? How about 2? How about we just go to the time bank and have a position where LGE can still really contest? They got to get at least that going for them.
It also means that they can't just cap in overtime. If they cap in overtime, they have to defend for 4 minutes and 7 seconds, lest the map be a loss, and then best case scenario would just be a draw. So LGE.Huya, again, we're still in the same situation we were after King's Row at the top of this map. They have to answer, they have to step it up. We haven't seen it yet, but on the offense, we might finally see it.
We're back on the same composition that O2 Blast used on King's Row to get a full hold on A, and Myongbong did a big job with those bio-nades really securing fights.
Also the offense, in theory, they should be able to give Hacker that extra time to get set up. He's already around the back on the point, keeping some pressure in. But he needs to get good hacks. Right now, O2 Blast are keeping a lid on the rest of LGE.Huya.
And they're trying to rotate here, but we'll see if O2 Blast wants to be able to intercept. First manual hack doesn't actually come through. There it is now.
And they find Mandu, immediately drop him. This is finally LGE.Huya. Actually, instead of slowing things down, decided to go even faster than what O2 Blast was prepared for, if that's even such a possibility.
Molly sleeping.
Good sleep on Molly, yeah. Biotic Grenade as well is huge. This could be what O2 Blast rally behind to start pushing back, but it's not quite enough.
I gotta say, Myongbong is really keeping them in the game right now. Nano Boost into play proper.
They find Lenser, that's big already, and they start to chill down the rest of these members. Kaiser gets J-Mac down in the charge as well after already getting softened up with the Biotic Grenade. And O2 Blast, despite losing a member very early on, LGE.Huya never found anyone else. O2 Blast just hunkered down.
And now we're going to talk about my other favorite T-word outside of tempo. That's called timing here. And what we see is the fact that Proper, once again, very quick on the Graviton Surge, the Nano Boost from Myongbong as well. And Hacker just couldn't quite get the EMP into play. Lingun Esports nearly were in a position where they dropped the big EMP. They have a good chance to win the fight, but just slightly too far apart.
Maybe second go around will do it. Unfortunately, that first push took a lot of time off the clock. Can Hacker get a good enough EMP for LGE.Huya to get this point?
And they got good ultimates as well. Graviton Surge, no real defense, no sound barrier. This is a Lingun Esports favorite fight.
But again, O2 Blast take the initiative. They go in, they commit a Graviton Surge. They didn't get any kills off it though. So this is where LGE.Huya start fighting back. Kaiser's down to the Earth Shatter. They get the T-Mac off. Kron gonna finish that one off. Find Myongbong as well. And there is all the execution that LGE.Huya needed.
And to be fair, if LGE don't win this fight, you probably don't see them win this map at all. This gives them a bit of a leg to play on. It's not a very easy push through A. It's certainly not what O2 Blast showed, and you don't have proper chasing down members. That's not what Piggy's doing at the moment, but for LGE, they get A, they walk on to B, 540 remaining. If they can snowball this, they'll have a very competitive time back. Otherwise, they'll just be happy to get a time back.
And that's the thing, they are still looking for that time bank situation here. There's still the world where O2 Blast complete the full hold on B.
I'll get the next charge through. Graviton Surge, obviously key item here. Hacker's still a little bit too far away. This fight needs to go for a bit longer if you want to see more LGE ults. And O2 Blast, again, timing-wise, they're going to go in.
There's the grab. Kaiser's just holding onto the Shatter to stop follow-up. Finally throws it out. Sound barrier on the side of LGE has been committed. EMP, there it is. They find a couple. Kaiser also going down, but Proper's got a grab. Can they get any follow-up damage? That's what they really need. They throw in a self-destruct.
There's
going to
again.
be one. That's maybe enough to start beating back the tide here. J-Mac also slept, kept him out of the fight long enough that honestly he's finally going to go down, but while that was not happening, LGE weren't making any headway anyway. It's just numbers advantage on the side of O2 Blast.
Oh, the individual plays from O2 Blast is so good right now. You see the bio-nades coming through time and time again from Myongbong, really taking members off, really taking members down, and even Pelican, he gets the charge, he gets the stun directly onto J-Mac as he's charging, puts him on his back, cleans up that kill, and O2 Blast are finding so many picks in the middle of nowhere, and LGE should be winning these kind of fights, but they're not.
It was expensive though, so this is where LGE.Huya have a real big opportunity if they can connect a good Shatter, if they can get that EMP available. But Piggy taking a lot of heat, needs to be careful to not go down before any of that's a factor. And Kaiser looking for one of his specials. Gonna get it on 3 members in the back. The shield not there, and that was after he was spotted out.
Four-man bio.
Massive biotic grenade, massive gamut of kills. LGE.Huya again, beaten back so effortlessly.
Well, there's no way they're going to get an equal time back versus O2 now, so we go to option B. They'll just be happy to get a time back, and that means pushing in. Ultimate advantage finally. O2 Blast didn't have to spend a decent amount. They do continue holding for some time. Respawn advantage still definitely in their side, and you have a case where not a single tick has been taken, so LGE kind of have to win a fight and a half, kind of have to win 2 fights in a row with respawners coming through to actually cap out.
I just don't understand that. They literally saw Kaiser. They knew he was there. And you've got to know if he's standing there is because he's got an Earth Shatter and he's looking to catch your back line with it. But what's done is done. LGE.Huya, they need to connect in these next few ultimates.
Tell you who's connecting right now. Myeongbong is certainly connecting, and speaking of that, it's also going to be EMP.
Man. They do fight Mandu early. A lot of ultimates committed from O2 Blast. Shatter out as well from J-Mac. Everyone's just throwing everything into the mix, and only one member has died so far. It's a terrifying scream over the edge there. But Piggy going to go down, Molly as well. And again, when the dust settles, when all these teams have thrown everything they have into the fight, O2 Blast force LGE.Huya back.
And they are winning despite EMPs coming through. They are winning despite not having Transcendence, not even having Sound Barrier. Mandu didn't have that. O2 Blast are just surviving against the EMPs. I mean, we'll be fair, they didn't really catch that many people, but usually it'll catch enough for at least Lingang Esports to get a couple of picks, get a couple of advantages, do something with that. But right now, it doesn't look like much at all.
I mean, you said it earlier, right? We're now into plan B for LGE.Huya. You can't get an even time back. Let's try and at least get a time back. But something's still got to change for that to happen. They're still falling into the same traps. They're still getting beaten out in the same ways over and over and over.
And it's dangerous because Kaiser has another Shadow available. Mandu does have defense now. We don't even have an EMP. We don't even have a grab on the side of LGE. Does this connect? It does!
How did he find 3 just tossed forward so casually? And now it's just to try and keep the pressure on LGE.Huya, stop them from pushing forward, stop them from setting up Hacker. It gets a 3K, and then Kaiser gets the rest.
And the fights are going so quickly, LGE are not getting a chance to charge up important ultimates, namely the EMP. You look at Hacker, he's dying, unfortunately. If you're losing these fights, let's say he even lives, very difficult for him to continue getting the ult charge in there, because they're not really being able to force these to go longer. Where's the EMP going to come from? Where's the grab going to come from? This is 2 fights in a row now where they just don't have these big tools.
And even then, by the time they've got the EMP available, there's all the answers there for O2 Blast. They got the sound barrier, they got the grab to try and kill the other members on the side of LGE.Huya. Let's see if they can play that same tune again, because that wasn't quite the kills they needed out of the grab, and now the ultimate's becoming available for LGE.Huya. Even though they didn't get mileage out of the EMP, shattered there from Kaiser. Couple on their backs, not quite what they were looking for. Nothing though out from J-Mac shatter. So O2 Blast, no ultimates left, but it's not like LGE.Huya have made any headway either.
Well, they got grab, but they got Transcendent. They should be pushing in now, should be getting very aggressive.
There goes Kaiser. Can they finish him off? Yes, they can. They've also got Transcendence to stop the counter-aggression, because Proper does deal a lot of damage. They demech Krong. They're finally starting to convert these, get some through. Finishing off Krong. Now Proper still dealing out a ton of damage. Still hasn't quite gone down, but it's starting to tip the way of LGE.
We look at the 30-second timer here. We need to get some time on the board. O2 Blast is trying their best to stall this one to overtime.
All 6 members looking to come back in, but Kaiser already dead, and 4 of the remaining members get EMP'd out by Hacker, finally starting to get the mileage they need. Looking to finish some members off. Proper super low. Finally they finish him off. Krong does get herself the strikes, but it's not going to be the crazy 3K of last time. It does find J-Mac, but they're going to need a lot more if they want to turn this one around. But finally LGE.Huya are keeping on top of
time.
it. If O2 Blast though could push this to overtime, then LGE.Huya have to defend for 4 minutes and 7 seconds, and they will push that to the overtime just barely. LGE.Huya should still finish this off, even with
it's still going.
It might not even be done actually as I say that, but there we go. Grab from Piggy is still there. They do finish it off, but now they've got to defend. Best case scenario is a tie.
That was so tough for Lingang Esports, and they actually walked in with a decent advantage in terms of the fact that, okay, EMP finally available, Graviton Surge finally available after 2 failed pushes in a row. That looks so good for O2 Blast, and you're in a position where O2 Blast finally don't have a counter, they don't have the sound barrier. In fact, they just didn't have any ultimates at all. That is a fight they're supposed to lose, and that still took about a minute for them to actually lose.
And that minute was the most costly one of all. If they got that fight any time earlier, they could have been going into at least a time bank here, if the disadvantaged one at that. Instead, they find themselves in arguably the toughest position they could possibly be in, especially when you consider O2 Blast's incredible offense, and that was Krong's crazy 3K.
And you look at the angles there as well as LGE were backing out. JMac was kind of off to the side, so couldn't defend the members in the middle there. Could defend himself all fine. You also have a case where unfortunately Kami is just thinking, okay, well, he can't block too much here. I'm going to get myself out alive. Does so, but at the expense of the other 3 members who had no way of getting themselves clear.
Just brilliant placement by Krong. And like we said, I mean, it was more or less just to create space and, you know, stop LGE.Huya from making the maneuvers they were trying to set up. Well, the 3K was a bonus.
Yeah, you'd be happy to just kind of disrupt their push, if anything. Allow yourself to get in there, allow Kaiser to walk forward. And this is going to be a case now where it's 4 minutes to get 1 tech to win this entire map. And for LGE, if they can defend, they will draw.
And this is O2 Blast, who had one and done pushes on point A of Kings Row and also the first phase of Volskaya Industries.
Oh,
I like this.
Hold up.
Lingan Esports did make an adaptation here. They rocked out the Pharah plus the Wrecking Ball.
So
O2 Blast make their own adaptation.
By the way, this is on defense. Lingan Esports is defending, and they're defending with the Pharmacy combo. Hacker, of course, is still going to be playing the Sombra. And O2 Blast, seeing this, they're going to put themselves on a Sombra composition with Proper going on the Trace. We have actually seen this comp before in Contenders career.
I really like the sound from O2 Blast. I mean, this is also your sort of attacker's advantage, as it were, onto point A. You can read what the defense is doing and then go back and change. You've got the time to do that.
That's a member gone.
Volley's already down. Pelican's finding one on the side. That's a numbers advantage.
And this is how O2 Blast want to work this, right? They have a lot of flankers. They can get a lot of kills.
Both supports are donezo. Can the rest of these members even stay alive, let alone get counter trades? Myeonbong does go down, but that's the last thing Kami will do before dying. They find Kaiser. That's a big one. But Piggy D-Mex. And no one can heal these members up. If they take damage, that's it. They are bound to die, and all those kills coming through. Surely that'll be it for O2 Blast. Man, you get the flankers finding both those supports. The rest is a predictable movie.
And I think if Lensa survives, you have the Mercy still available, you res somebody, you can still get a bunch of healing in, you buy enough time for Hacker to get some EMPs into play, maybe you start making it work. You also have a case where, to be quite fair to the O2 Blast side, with about 4 minutes, in fact they had 4 minutes and a few seconds, that should be more than enough time to get that A point all captured up, considering how dominant they were in regulation time.
You look at the difference between these two teams now, by the way. After our first map, where it was LGE.Huya picking up the win, they look good, they look confident, they look calm. You saw O2 Blast, you know, a couple of them, I would say focused, but a couple of them looked a bit disappointed. You see them now, Kaiser's sitting back with his hands behind his head. He knows he's done good.
Now let's see if Kaiser and O2 Blast can make this one a 3-1 victory when we come back from the break. More Pacific Showdown right after this. We are back in action, everyone, in the Pacific Showdown here with the final match of day one. O2 Blast 2-1 up against their opponents LGE.Huya, and we have to start asking the question now of, were LGE really favored against O2 Blast, or were O2 Blast secretly the favorites all along? We just didn't really know it, because this is now seriously going in their favor.
I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna claim the benefit of hindsight necessarily. Yeah, I think it's fair to favor the first seed of a region against the second seed of another region when you come into a match like this. But I will say that this is about what I expected if O2 Blast were just able to do what's worked for them in the past and nothing was changed on the side of their opponent, regardless as to who that opponent is.
Well, let's look at the evidence, because you do have, again, that Korea final where they went up against Element Mystic. We call Sparkle the kind of X factor there that's making this as the extra variable. But let's consider Doha as a very good Sombra. Let's consider Hacker still is actually a very good Sombra by all accounts. based on that, based on the fact that the matchup was so poor for O2 Blast in that final, O2 Blast have to readdress a lot of issues versus Sombra to come into this match looking good, looking favored. I believe they've done that now, and I believe LGE have probably not done the same.
I also think it means other people who want to beat GOATs using Sombra GOATs are going to really need to reconsider how that works when you're playing against O2 Blast. Because let's be fair, if Hacker can't do it, then your Sombra probably can't either.
Yeah, the two best Sombras in the tournament.
Unless you Doa, maybe.
You'd say anybody else after Hacker and Doa probably not even on the scoreboard here, probably not even in the conversation.
Why you got to do my boy Apudo dirty like that? But you're right.
I mean,
you're completely right.
What do you want to say here? Like, can't tell a lie. Sorry. But the truth is, I mean,
Dave over here.
The truth is, I mean, you're in this sort of position where I think O2 Blast is seriously unlocking the secret, or at least unlocking the way to go up against the Sombras, which does mean that eventually, assuming O2 Blast do win, or even if they lose, if there's another chance where they get a rematch versus Element Mystic, they probably do end up having a better matchup versus them as well. But in this particular matchup, we are still here. LGE still have an opportunity, and I do firmly believe if they can win Escort and we go to a 5th map and its control, LGE should be favored on map 5.
You would absolutely believe so, if for no other reason than they won the first one. But there's also the other factors we talked about how the Sombra is able to play, how the 3-3 has to behave. And that is a real difference maker, as we saw. Man himself there on your screen for a moment. Kaiser, what a guy. And so handsome too. Anyway, Rialto's next. Please talk.
I was going to say, we said handsome. I was going to say, well, I mean, isn't Fisher meant to be the most handsome main tank? I don't know. Up for debate. It's got to be somebody. Rialto is the pick coming from LGE.Huya, and on this type of map, I think you got a lot of angles to work with as a Sombra.
Yeah.
This is where I do expect things to maybe start to turn around for LGE in their favor. Does that mean they'll win? Still up for debate. Still don't really know if that's going to happen yet. Based on how the last two maps are going, is this going to be a much better map for them? I certainly hope so. I certainly think so.
And look, this may seem like a real nothing statement, but Rialto is definitely a map where I see LGE.Huya as having a lot more opportunities to slow things down as they need, to unlock Hacker, to get more mileage out of him. But it's also a map where you can snowball really, really hard, and that is what O2 Blast have done so far.
It's also a map that is very good for 3-3 coach. In fact, if you want to play snipers, which Proper is on right now, that's very good for your team as well. You look at LGE, they actually bring out the pharmacy straight off the bat.
Proper has actually looked like he wanted to change on for a moment to the Zarya, but instead he's going to go ahead and commit to a Tracer, and yeah, Hacker as well getting picked up by Myeonbong. Try to work that one out.
If there's one play you don't want to see go down early, it's probably Hacker on the side of LGE if you're a fan of LGE, because that's the guy that needs to charge up ultimates quickly.
And this is a real display of confidence, actually. With that early pick, O2 Blast have gone, yeah, you know what, we'll probably be able to deal with the pharmacy as well. So Proper goes back to spawn, changes back onto Zarya. Doesn't feel like they need the Tracer against this comp.
And I think Myeonbong's playing out of his mind. This guy is probably my vote for MVP of the series so far for O2 Blast, certainly. Maybe on both teams. And you're looking at the ultimate charge, like you mentioned, he's got 88%. Actually, I mean, Molly on the other side has even more.
Yeah, technically, yeah, but I mean, you've still got to say, yeah, Myeonbong has been playing, as you say, out of his mind. Early nano boost committed in, trying to get some mileage out of J-Mac.
Look at that.
Slept. That is gross. Kami goes down as well as he was lining up for a rocket barrage. Let's see you. Lenser commits the res 2. Nope, not going to even get a chance to do that as they run him down. And O2 Blast just straight flexing through the courtyard.
This is the type of flex support player that you fear going up against. You don't want to walk up to him because you're going to get slipped. You're going to get bayoneted. Something bad's going to happen.
Let's check that out. So that was over the water is what happened there.
Disgusting.
Just off the side of the gondola. Brutal.
It's not quite the same.
Ah.
But anyway.
I would have described it as brutal. Dude straight drowned.
I mean, that's pretty brutal. Hacker again, just unable to get much done. He does get an EMP off that, which is very important. Doesn't he stay alive for too long. But now I'm watching the supports. What's Myeonbong going to do about this one?
There he goes, throws it in, and Kron good on the timing. Goes up a self-destruct, that takes out Lenser, which means the rest of these picks will stick 1-for-1 so far in every regard. Kron gets back in the mech as well. Can O2 Blast stay in this one? Trying to keep a lid on J-Mac, has to pop a Primal Rage, but does so I would argue in the wrong direction. Gets Pelican over. That's still a trade against Molly. I mean, O2 Blast, they don't want to back out of this. They don't care how many members you've got. Again, we're getting a potential trade here. Piggy with the self-destruct will not be able to get back in the mech because Kaiser found him out. Now O2 Blast respawning. They're not going to give LGE.Huya the time to slow down and regroup.
Pestilent, that's another one. As O2 Blast collecting a bunch of ultimates, moving through the streets phase. We're still waiting to see a little bit more out of specifically, I want to say Kami, because this fire pick needs to start working big time versus Orion composition.
Just continuing to push forward. Krong already back on another self-destruct, tosses that one forwards. Again, just looking to make space. No wacky 3Ks, but it does open things up. O2 Blast will not give you time to breathe if they can so help it. They find J-Mac. Now looking to isolate Molly. Indeed, could be isolating both the supports if they're not careful.
Grabs into play. Molly does have the counter.
Finds one. The other support will duck for cover. Myeonbong barely stays alive.
Good coverage.
But with the EMP, they're able to finish him and indeed a few other members off. So finally, LGE.Huya have found somewhere where they can take a breather and maybe start setting up a defense.
And barely stopping the cutters. So that was nearly just a sneaky back cap by O2 as they were losing. Still got a decent amount of ults in play. I think Kaiser's maybe having a bit more of a tough game because not a lot of members on the floor that he can realistically get a nice Earth Shatter on.
Yeah.
And this is a way for O2 Plus. Again, I look at Myeongbong, I look at this guy as a key factor. Can he get a land of sleep dart on a key member? Because that probably turns into a kill.
Hasn't been the case so far. O2 Blast come back into this fight with a bit of an ultimate advantage. Not all of the most high impact ultimates though. You'd rather have maybe a nano boost and a grab here. Even a self-destruct just because it dislodges the pharmacy.
To play that nano boost does go into effect. Actually goes on Pelican of all members.
All right. Let's see what he can do. Kami goes down actually to
Oh,
Krong.
he's hunter killer.
Oh man, look at this guy go. Finds Lenser. Now looking to get the other support. Molly's going to go down. Pelican just a one-man army with that nano boost. Self-destruct in the middle there by Piggy. Completely blocked out. Myeonbong does die to a primal rage from J-Mac, but he's off to the side as the cap comes through. He might not even make it back to his team at this rate.
And honestly, target selection nice by Pelican as well. Runs past Hacker, who you'd expect probably get this guy. Sees Lenser on the side, is like, no, I want the Mercy instead. That's probably the more important one. Rolls through onto B.
Yeah.
Still a decent amount of time left. A reminder, this is not an easy map for attacking teams to actually fully complete. There's still 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining for O2 Blast, and they're certainly on track for a full completion.
This is a similar rack of ultimates as what LGE.Huya used in the last fight that they won though. So if they can get similar execution here, they can again begin a solid defense.
This has to be a huge push for LGE as well. So they push up in defense,
Grab out.
EMP in play.
Does get a good number of members as well. Molly with the Transcendence keeping the team alive in the grab. Now if they can get kills, unfortunately the EMP's already expired. It's going to be a rocket barrage out. It's got to get a lot done, but it's likely blocked up. And Kaiser aims it to the skies and burns Kami's wings off. Icarus, who I say, Kaiser fighting himself a 3K in the mix of that. And again, LGE.Huya, when they seem to have all the right tools, they just don't connect, and O2 Blast hit back harder.
O2 Blast are not allowing LGE to do anything here. You see the rocket barrage come through, 3 members, all 3 tanks on the side of O2 Blast turn immediately, look at him, use their abilities, and completely shut him down. LGE going into the final phase of defense, swapping back onto classic Sombra Goats.
J-Mac's got to get a lot done with the Shadow, unfortunately not quite getting it. They do get some members down. I say members, I really mean Myeonbong, and it's actually more kills coming through the wave. O2 Blast now Kami as well. Nothing stops this train when it gets rolling, and O2 Blast poised to cap out Rialto with more than enough time to spare on what is so often a tough map to cap.
And do I think this map has gone better for Lingan Esports than previous maps? I'd probably say yes. Is this now going to be a map where you realistically expect LGE to kind of get the win here? I'd say looking like this, probably not. This is looking like a 3-1 to O2 Blast.
This is looking the same as the last 2 maps where O2 Blast get to play their game, get to play their aggressive 3-3, get to keep a lid on LGE.Huya, who never get an opportunity to breathe. Even in fights where LGE.Huya come in with far more ultimates, it's the way that O2 Blast play it. They push in, they make you use the ultimates in suboptimal situations every single time.
I think there's a real problem when you have a Sombra on your team and you are able to get an EMP in there, and the other team is not running a Zenyatta, they're running an Ana. They have one less key defensive tool versus the EMP, and somehow your EMP is not going to be good enough to actually get you a fight win. If that doesn't happen, that's a big problem for a team that relies heavily on a Sombra-based composition. If you can't get past the fact that, okay, O2 Blast are kind of winning this series with only just the sound barrier as a defense, and Myeongbong is popping off really hard on the Ana, landing all the skill shots. What do you got left if you're LGE? This was meant to be your key tool versus a team like O2 Blast.
And we've talked about, you know, the Ana coming in, you know, when there's Sombras in play. There is the trade-off, right? You're going, they don't have a Diva, that means we do get to get more out of our Sleep Darts, out of our Bionic Grenades, with the trade-off being, obviously, less defensive tools against the Sombra. If the lack of defensive tool doesn't even matter, then the Ana is just a freebie.
Yep. They're getting away with it. They're completely getting away with it. You expect LGE to really tap into the fact that there's no Transcendence, but it just doesn't seem to be a factor. Now onto the offense for LGE. Got to be make or break here. They are at match point versus O2. Last chance, really.
This will be a defense, though, for O2 Blast, where the rules are just a little bit different. And it is just going to be the Sombra 3-3. The Sombra Goats, rather, so no Faras, none of that spicy stuff.
I actually prefer seeing LGE play more of a standard for their Sombra Goats. Put JMac back on the Ryan, put your members back on where they were supposed to be in this composition, and just play it like you have been since map 1.
Slowly moving that card forward. And that is one thing, they do still need time to get Hacker going. They need time to maybe get an EMP, get a good hack that they can follow up on. Myeongbong is not the one that they need. Pelican is too ready to react to that. So, not really much more progress for now from LGE.
You need to start seeing them push in once the hacks come through, and specifically if you get a hack onto Mando and Kaiser, that's really the go button, especially if Kaiser's nearly at an Earthshatter. Should be the first ultimate of this game.
Proper coming close to a grab as well. Myeongbong coming close to Nano Boost, and again, it's just O2 Blast really stripping ahead of LGE in the macro game.
And I think O2 Blast just go. They don't really need to wait too long. The Nano they can just walk forward with. You don't want to wait until Hacker actually has an EMP. That would probably be a mistake.
It's a minute and a half so far as well. The time just ticks away inexorably with LGE.Huya not actually making any headway.
He's looking for something, and I don't know, maybe the manual hack would help, but
I mean, Krong just kind of stands there and dishes damage back out until Hacker has to get out of here, and that means O2 Blast can get aggressive in the rest of the fight. They've got the tools to back it up. The Nano Boost, the Earth Shatter, didn't even have to use the Graviton Surge there. It's going to be Piggy in the drink. Hacker, the only one to actually get back to spawn alive when all is said and done.
And I want to talk about positioning here as well, because you see Myeongbong quite far back. He was actually on 80 HP after taking a bunch of damage. Hacker, however, was not in a position to capitalize on that damage. He was hunting down Krong instead. If he had a flank already done, and if his team was communicating, this guy on the back is low, this Ano's on 80 HP, Hacker goes in and gets a kill. That's probably what happens. That gets them a 6v5, but that's not what happened, and Lingan Esports lose another fight.
O2 Blast are desperate for that rematch against Elman Mystic. That's what I'm kind of getting out of here.
Good connection.
That's decent, but Mandu's got the reaction. He's got a sound barrier ready to go. 1 for 1, and you'd rather have kept JMac alive. Grab going to come out as well from Proper, catching a lot of members. Self-destruct kind of off to the side from Krong. Doesn't get anything on its own, but sleep on Piggy. They're not actually able to follow up on that kill just yet, but they find Kami, and now the sound barrier from Lensa only onto 3 members. Now that it's run out, I don't know that these members are going to get back to the rest of their team alive. O2 Blast are burning time off the clock.
And their ultimate's just not getting the value. Look, there's 4-man EMPs, and this is where the sound barrier is into effect. That gets blocked as well. No ultimate is really coming into play.
And he nearly died as well. He threw out an Earth Shadow that got blocked, and he nearly died. Again.
Can this work? It's the Element Mystic composition. Kami onto the Doomfist. Haven't really seen much of it. Might be good. You don't really have much to work with. 45 seconds, it's make or break.
This is all they got left, right? Like, if this doesn't work, then what does?
It worked for EM, might work for us, right?
Seems like the only thing that can beat O2 Blast. But will it work the same for LGE as it did for EM? Shout out for Kaiser!
Yeah, that's the one.
Big boy right there. Look at that. Will we hear those sweet bells of victory? No, Hacker will get back alive, but that is still 5 kills, 20 seconds on the board.
You know what it is, fellas. It's Eye of the Kaiser, that's right. And he wants to win this one so badly. It's got to be looking like a 3-1 here. About 12 seconds remaining. No ultimates available. Where's the EMP?
Molly.
2 members already low.
This is unbelievable. Molly fighting against the Transcendence. That's all they got to work with here until that EMP becomes available. Profit does go down. Kami finds himself an opening. That is something to work with, especially with the EMP available. They know it as well. Kaiser charges back out. Molly finds out Pelican as well. And finally, LGE.Huya are going to make some headway. They're not just going to go completely belly up, but they are still massively against the wall here.
And they've regripped really quickly. Got to give them credit for being able to find some picks. Kaiser gets one on the way out. Still very big for O2 Blast. You need to see momentum here. You finally do have the EMP available. You even have Kami with that Meteor Strike. This is where for LGE, if they can get past the next corner, that's when they can really find some success. This next corner of the offense is one of the hardest places on this entire map to get past.
What can O2 Blast do here? They get an opportunity to dig in the heels. LGE.Huya come in with a big ultimate
Grab
advantage though. It's got to be it, surely. Nothing else.
Oh, that's big.
A huge EMP and an entry frag from Kami as well onto Myeongbong. That is a very clean fight out from LGE.Huya. That is exactly what they need to get. That and more, I tell you. I think this is it. I think the Doomfist is the X factor.
I think O2 Blast are getting some PTSD, like, oh no, it's Sparkle again. Oh, is this Dohart? I don't know. Element Mystic can't deal with this. How long will it last, though? But that's the real question, because you still need to see LGE complete this map. Nice dodge out by Hacker, just barely makes it up from the with the flail.
That was Arya during the Battle of Winterfell there. Even out of sight. Oh, boo. Anyway, ultimate's tossed into the mix, and Mandu's the first casualty. That's an ultimate they're going to wish they had as this fight plays out. Kaiser's got a shatter. Don't know if they'll get a chance to use it. Still one man down here.
Nano didn't do too much this time around, still looking for the Ursa. They're losing so many members.
Yeah, Kami repositioned with the Meteor Strike, didn't go aggressive, but able to find Pelican, now getting the punch onto Kaiser. Absolutely demolishing that precision German engineering.
This is happening.
This is working. This is working a charm.
How did they not do this earlier? This is absolutely gross.
I mean, it's like, because they were never in that position before where you were one fight away from just straight up losing.
I'll tell you what's happening. I can explain this very well because they completely changed the pace of the game. With Kami on Doomfist, he's landing on the backline, he's creating a lot of space there, taking pressure off a Hacker, and allowing these early picks to come through in a way they couldn't do before.
O2 Blast's aggression works because they can go faster than you, but when you put the Doomfist in here, it can go even faster than that, and O2 Blast is suddenly the ones who can't keep up. It is a complete reversal. However, they finally come in with some ultimates. Maybe this can be the one.
Nope, they don't have ultimates now.
Not anymore, they don't. That's going to be a nano boost from Myeongbong. The only thing they got to work with in this fight. Kami is low, but Molly keeping the team alive. Kron gets D-Mex. Again, LGE.Huya outpacing. Grab comes out. Not really the hottest one, though. It's kind of off yonder by the archways. Kron going to finally get finished off now. Pushing forward is Kami, going to reposition with the Meteor Strike back to his team. Kaiser low, he goes down. They're still doing it. They're still winning these fights.
And I don't know. O2 Blast are falling apart so quickly right now.
This is unbelievable. This is the kryptonite.
They found the answer. This is it. They found the answer. It was waiting in front of them, lying in front of them the entire time.
Right
you
now,
are looking
Order
at all the wrong places.
Notes down.
Well, Order don't have a Doomfist place. That's not going to do them any good.
Bet you Talon do, though, and that could be who O2 Blast end up facing if this Doomfist keeps working, but it's not over yet. Self-destruct laid on forward. Biggie goes down. Finally, O2 Blast making something happen with that huge shatter out from Kaiser. 45 seconds left on the clock, though. Is still enough time for LGE.Huya to get one more fight.
Just take a breather because this is still very losable for LGE. They may have won a lot of fights in a row. O2 Blast now slowing things down a decent amount. Wait for the next EMP to come through. Wait for the next round of ultimates for LGE because they're going to get them faster than O2 Blast. That's the window. That's the timing that they can actually finish this game and push through.
It's got to be it. EMP available. Need to line it up. Need to get the mileage. Something they have not always got. J-Mac taking a lot of heat as well.
I think it's about the outplay factor now. Myeongbong has to be the one to really land something big here.
10 seconds.
If he can do it, then they can still win this game. O2 Blast are still in this.
Taking a moment, Hacker through the translocator forward, but didn't quite go just yet. Kami takes some damage, has to back up. Now they go in. That's decent connection, but Myeongbong still gets the ultimate that they needed out. Mandu low. Have they killed anyone? No, they haven't. Krong might get D-Max here, but no one's dead. Kaiser out onto the side with a shatter. J-Mac as well. No one dead just yet. Molly's got a transcendence to keep Huya in the fight. What can LGE.Huya do now with that grab out? Trying to get the damage from the members, but there was a counter grab from Proper. Pelican's the first casualty. Can they get more? Trying to unlock Kami. He's on his back. He goes down. Krong gets a kill. Piggy, I think that was his own right click. It looks like it's not going to happen just when the Doomfist looked like it might be the bit of magic. They did not have the time. O2 Blast beat the first seed from Australia, beat the first seed from China, and guess who's waiting for them for the forward? It's the first seed from Korea. No points.
Oh yeah, there we go. I got that.
Some easy trivia.
O2 Blast, I don't know what to tell you, man. They got the Vietnam flashbacks, woke up on a cold sweat. It's like, no, okay. It's still 2019. Wait a minute, we're good. We're good.
It's LGE.Huya. It's not Element Mystic after all.
But I do want to say that was much too close for comfort for O2 Blast.
Yep.
And
what if they played the Doomfist earlier, right?
The part that I'm not joking about is the cold sweat, because you got to be feeling it after that, right towards the end. And you got to be looking at this as Element Mystic thinking, yep, still weak to this, weak to this.
That's the thing. That's something Element Mystic can feel confident about. I think there's even a world where LGE.Huya are going to walk away from this and go, should we have just played that sooner? If we hadn't waited until the very last fight, maybe we'd taken it even just a minute earlier, they might have had the time to push it over the line, go into time bank, then we're back onto control. It worked. It genuinely worked.
Let's be also honest about one thing. The surprise factor is a big part of it. It also worked better than you'd expect, because O2 Blast were in a position where, like, probably not expecting this to come through, not really expecting the Doomfist to be into play. They have to reset the game, put it back into a neutral state, and then think about, okay, how do we want to deal with the Doomfist? We've had a fight when we're able to kind of just consolidate here, reset the game completely, and just reset our minds, because it was a long snowball from the side of LGE that got them a lot of distance off the back of surprise factor.
Look, we spent like all three of those, after the very first map, we spent all three of those maps for the most part going, if O2 Blast are allowed to continue, they're just going to win. And they were allowed to continue up until the point that Doomfist came out. I feel like O2 Blast getting the win, look, it's deserved in the end because those other maps were so dominant, but in another way, it was also a very close run thing. I think if they hadn't got themselves up to such a massive lead, this might have been a very different story. So O2 Blast taking the stage at the end there, getting the win, moving further forward in the winner's bracket, I think they can feel good about that, but I also think that there's maybe a bit of the confidence that could and maybe should be shaken, because there is this fatal flaw for this team right now.
Or at least in a little bit, in the microcosm of what we just saw on Rialto. That's something to readdress. We do also look at this team and say, this should have been a matchup that was weak for them in general. I do want to say O2 Blast did a great job of coming into this matchup, looking at the Sombra on the other side, and having a good general idea of how they wanted to deal with that. The Doomfist towards the end, just an extra spanner in the works that they might not have been seeing. Moving forward now, they will be seeing that if they go up against LGE again, if they go up against anyone, if T1W survives long enough and they get a bit of a matchup in there, you don't know what could happen. There's a lot of Sombra-based teams in here. There's at least 2, now possibly 3 Doomfist-ish kind of teams as well. And O2 Blast are one of the few 3-3 purist teams alongside Order that are swimming in the sea of DPS.
And it's just incredible how that series ended up playing out. I mean, Rialto was just kind of it was a shock, right? It was a straight up shock to the system, and what an incredible way as well to close out what is the first day of games there. I need to catch my breath.
If that's a shock, I mean, they got defibrillated back to life on that one, because you start to feel like they were losing it, and then O2 Blast swapped back to status normal, and you start to think of this team,
Wipe
and
the sweat off the brow.
We kind of discussed this earlier, but it's like, is this team, were they underrated coming in? Are they like the most underrated, overrated team? Because Korea, you think, okay, Korea is definitely probably the favorites overall. Korea 2 looks a lot weaker than Korea 1 based on how the standings and results were. Obviously, we're talking about O2 Blast being Korea 2, Element Mystic being Korea 1, based off of the Contenders Korea Grand Finals results, and how much of a disparity that was. The 4-0 looked very one-sided for Element Mystic, and then again, I think it was very fair to say, look, that Sombra playstyle was a bit of a problem for O2 Blast. So saying LGE was favored going into this,
Doomfist especially.
I think it starts with the Sombra and it ends with the Doomfist. But to say that LGE comes in as a potential favorite is not at all outlandish.
Exactly, right? And that's the thing, as we've said time and time again, you could have looked at this matchup through a number of different lenses. China 1 versus Korea 2. Element Mystic absolutely demolishing O2 Blast, exposing some weaknesses. Or you can look at it through the lens of O2 Blast looked exceptional up until the point where they ended up losing to Element Mystic. So maybe there was just a form of kryptonite in there somewhere. I actually think, after seeing what happened on Rialto, that second lens almost feels more appropriate now with that wider view. Now that we've seen them play against more teams who will run Sombra Goats and move into a Doomfist. And like you said, there's potentially a lot more of that still in this tournament. O2 Blast picking up a win here is still an exceptionally good thing for them, no doubt. They still win that, but you almost say the same thing. Like, are they really strong, or is there this one massive fatal flaw that will always undo them if teams play it right?
I still believe O2 Blast are going to go into tomorrow's matches and maybe even future, depending on how deep they run, and they will have readdressed. They will know this is something they got to work on, because at some point, look, even if you are at minimum the second best team in the tournament, that doesn't win you the tournament, because you still got to get past EM. You still got to get past the fact that they 0-4'd you, they 4-0'd you.
Yeah.
You still got to get past that. You kind of have to turn that script around. So that's on the future, though. Let's take a look at the interview, have a chat with O2 Blast about how that went.
好的，欢迎回来，这里是我们的赛后采访环节，我是妮娜。那站在我身边的就是 O2 战动的 명봉选手，让他跟大家打一个招呼吧。
네, 인사 부탁드립니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 O2 블라스트에서 플렉스 힐러를 맡고 있는 면봉이라고 합니다.
大家好，我是 O2 Blast 里的 명봉 选手。
是的，欢迎 명봉 选手来到我们的赛后采访。首先，第一个问题想要问到，现在又一次拿得了比赛的胜利，现在心情怎么样呢？
So you've just won another game. How do you feel about this one?
지금 기분이 어떠신지 말씀 부탁드립니다.
생각보다 쉽게 이길 줄 알았는데 약간 힘들어서 다음 LG 경기 잘 준비해야 될 것 같습니다.
他原来以为会很轻松的就可以赢这场比赛，结果有一点点吃力，所以可能要认真去准备下一场比赛。
是的，还是非常谨慎的。但是我觉得能够连赢2把也是非常不错的一个成绩。那我想问到这位选手，他自己个人认为这2场比赛打下来都赢了，哪一场觉得自己发挥是最好的？
Out of these 2 matches, how do you feel you performed, and which is the one that you felt like was probably the better match for you?
어느 경기에서 본인 플레이가 더 빛을 발했는지. 네.
아무래도 LG의 아나 플레이에서 제가 잘할 수 있는 걸 한 것 같습니다.
好像是在 LG 和 LGE 战队比赛的时候的安娜。 这一个他比较擅长，所以他还是觉得第2场他的发挥更好一点。
是的，以赛代练我们也是越来越好了。那刚才提到 LGE.Huya 这支战队，那他个人又觉得我们这支战队里面他最欣赏的对手是其中哪一位呢？我们想了解一下。
In terms of playing against LGE.Huya, who do you feel like was the most impactful member on the other team, or the one that left the biggest impression on
좋다고
you?
생각하시는 상대팀 선수는 누구인지. 네.
해커 선수가 잘한다고 들었는데. 생각보다 별로 못하는 것 같아서 네.
比赛前他听说 Hacker 选手很厉害，但是好像没有那么厉害。
好像没有那么厉害。好的，那我其实觉得今天这场比赛真的是打出了你们的风范，非常非常厉害。但是接下来你们要面对的选手也是同样来自韩国一群实力不凡的小伙子 EM 战队，不知道他有没有信心呢？
How do you feel about going up against them
이제
again?
다음 경기는 한국팀 EM 팀이랑 진행될 예정인데요. 어떻게 생각되시는지?
저희 컨텐더스에서 EM에게 아쉽게 졌는데 이번에는 복수전을 한번 해서 이기고 싶습니다.
我们上次输给了 EM， 但是这次我们会报仇成功，所以一定会赢的。
是的，我们的复仇者联盟一定会席卷回来的，是不是？好，那再次感谢我们的选手们接受到我们的采访。那接下来我们把时间交还给我们解说，有请。
And there you have it. Overall, pretty happy with the performance there. Definitely not as easy as they expected. Still, the bigger challenge lies ahead, as we've alluded to.